So much of things that we need to see about. Surely I do have to spell them out. Cause you know as well as I do, the only way is put in more effort and less play. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together.
Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build a nation together. Let's build Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique together. That's the plea. That's the call. Let's build. Let's enhance. Let's transform. Let's make this place better than we met it. Let's leave it better for our children and children. I want to welcome you to this segment in the program where I will speak, laying a solid foundation for reasoning. And I want to start off by saying today is the first day of the new school term. So our children, the kids, they had, 2 months of vacation. They enjoyed it. They enjoyed Spice Mass, the Guinness Carnival, and, the other events for the kids. So now it's back to school. I want to wish you all the best. Parents, I want to encourage you to do all that you must do to make sure that your children are attending school and performing well. Teach them to respect their teachers, respect their peers. And teachers, I want to encourage you to be patient with them. Try your utmost to educate and motivate and empower them so that they can become productive citizens. Bus drivers, conductors, I know you have it around this time. Please drive safely. Conductors, respect the kids, guide them, cross them on the other side of the road if you have to. Slow down the vehicle in the back if you have to. Do what you must to ensure that the kids are safe. So it's back to school. We wish them all the best. Today is also Kirani's Day, September the 1st. It's observed as Kirani's Day, Kirani James Day. So again, and I think it's his birthday. So I want to wish him happy birthday. And I want to pray that God will give him good health and strength so he can continue to fly our flag very high. So firstly, I want to say to you, the government continues to work hard in the education sector. They're trying their best. The St. David Catholic Secondary School, that construction continues. I saw a nice little video there. I want to show it to you.
Welcome to the new St. David's Catholic Secondary School, a place where learning meets possibility and every student is empowered to thrive. The Government of Grenada, in partnership with the Caribbean Development Bank, has officially broken ground on the new EC $40 million project, the St. David's Catholic Secondary School in Malmount, St. David, a transformative investment in the heart of the community. Here's what's coming. A modern 13,000 square feet facility on a 4-acre lot. The capacity for 500 students and 40 staff, 15 classrooms including fully equipped science, IT and technical labs, spacious staff room, outdoor court and green spaces, wheelchair lift and inclusive design, upgraded infrastructure, parking, drainage, fencing and wastewater treatment. This $40 million plus project is the third school under the Grenada Education Enhancement Project, a powerful step toward a brighter, transformative, and more resilient future for our youth. Stay tuned for more updates on this and other infrastructure projects.
Yes, so it's our government is at work. All right, so that they're finished on me quite quickly. So let me just make sure that everything is in line here. Right. So the St. David's Catholic Secondary School, that project is ongoing. The St. Andrew Anglican School, St. Andrew Anglican Primary School, that construction is ongoing. And the Grenada Christian Academy School, that construction is ongoing. You know, the government plans to implement e-books and laptops at the beginning of school. So now that the school has reopened, they will be utilizing that in going forward for Forms 1 and Forms 2.
Education Minister, Senator the Honorable David Andrew, has announced that schools across Grenada, Carriacou and PT Martinique will reopen Monday, September 1st for the start of the 2025/2026 academic year. According to the Education Minister, the ministry will focus heavily on infrastructure improvements, student support programs and digital learning. Minister Andrew emphasized the government's commitment to preparing students and teachers for the future through expanded access to technology and modernized teaching tools.
I want to just pull this document because we are happy to announce that in 2025, within this year, we have been able to see the regularization of 216 teachers across various levels of the system with effect from January 2024. 216 teachers in 2025. Now, this comes after a previous batch of 112 regularized in 2023. And this means that those teachers will get instruments of appointment that will allow them to be entitled to the previous pension arrangement, and hence the date of their appointment is important.
With key initiatives announced, Minister Andrew also highlighted that the ongoing infrastructural improvements will not affect the reopening of schools.
So those infrastructural upgrades are simply for the purposes of information that, as you will be aware, we have the Grenada Christian Academy being constructed in the Pearls area. We have the St. Andrew's Anglican Primary School. The construction is taking place, and there were some adjustments that had to be made, but that too is behind us, and we will see full resumption in shortest order to the works there. We have started works at the Malmont for the construction of the St. David's Catholic Secondary School. That is ongoing. We have started some work at the Caliste Government School, so that's ongoing as well. Florida Government, we have started some preparatory work for relocation of students and the eventual reconstruction of a new building there. So all of these upgrades are taking place, but I repeat, they are not going to interfere with the planned reopening of school. Contingencies have been put in place.
A standout initiative was the intent to implement a CSEC reimbursement scholarship program.
We plan to give back funds to students who perform well at CSEC. There are some guidelines. The framework is being fleshed out, and we assure you that within the term, we will give all the details of how it will work out. What I can tell you though, it will target areas of priority, some of the sciences, the math, the science, the history, the agricultural science, the technical subject areas, the marine school that we've discussed, that too targets the T.A. Marisho Community College campus in Carriacou, Martinique.
During the press conference, the Education Minister also announced the government's continued effort to ensure the stability and working conditions for the teachers across Grenada.
Right. So again, so we give a nice update there on the ongoing construction of new schools and also expansions of some. So I'm really happy to hear in the mix the Florida government school that too will be rebuilt, right? So that's good news for St. John. And we know about the Calais government school. They're doing some much needed expansion and so on there. I think it's in the region of $3 million. All right. So that is really good. And we know about the St. David Catholic Secondary School. We know about the St. Andrew Anglican Primary School and the Grenada Christian Academy. So quite a bit is happening in the education sector. And then we heard about the teachers being regularized. And I'm glad he gave an update on that, because you're talking about 216 plus 112 teachers. So that's 328 teachers being regularized. They were not permanent, they were temporary. So this is a big thing, because some of these teachers, they're getting retroactive. They're getting all the benefits and everything like that. So it's good news. I met a teacher and she told me she's one of them. She just waiting for instruments, waiting for a letter, but she was already informed by the Public Service Commission that she will be regularized, or by the Ministry of Education. So it's really good news for teachers. Remember, the NNP had these teachers working temporarily. They were not permanent. They were never made permanent. The NDC has taken it as a strategy to make the teachers permanent, to make the nurses permanent, to make the workers generally who are within the public service permanent. It will take some time. Everybody will not be permanent at once, but they have started the process. Quite a number of nurses have been made permanent. Quite a number of teachers have been made permanent, and they continue with other public officers, because you must know that over 4,000 public officers are not permanent. They are considered to be unestablished workers. Unestablished workers. So the NNP had all these workers within the system not being permanent, and also going home when they retire without a pension. See, some people just forget very quickly. So first thing, they had no job security. They couldn't go to a bank, they can't go to a credit union, they can't borrow, because they have no security of tenure. And then they were retiring without a pension. They were retiring without a pension. Make that soak in for a moment. The NDC came into power. They paid the people who retired and qualified for a pension, but the NNP was not giving them their money. The NDC came into power and they gave them their money, $75.1 million. And then those who were retiring without a pension, because they are unestablished, they don't qualify for a pension, the NDC put in place a pension scheme for them where they would contribute 3% and the government will contribute 3%. So when they retire, they qualify for a pension until they die. And at the same time, the government is making the workers permanent, giving them security of tenure. So the teachers, they're going back to school or they're back in the classroom this morning and they're happy. Not all of them have been made permanent, but they have hope. That is what is important. They have hope that they will be permanent one day. It's not like under the NNP, none of them were being made permanent. They were just acting. Temporary. I don't know how many teachers are actually unestablished or temporary. I don't know how many. Whether it's 500, whether it's 400 and something, I don't know the figure. I think Jude sometime back did mention the figure. But it will be good to know how many teachers are actually temporary. So we would kind of get a picture as to how many more to go, how many more the government has to make permanent. Because of course they have to be appraised, assessed, and then made permanent. All right? So it's important, very important, to know, to get to know how many in total need to be made permanent. Because so far, 328 in total have been made permanent by this government so far. And they continue to make them permanent. But it will be instructive. It will be good to know the total amount who are not established or who are unestablished workers. But remember, they were temporary under the NNP. They were unestablished under the NNP. This NDC made them permanent. All right? So that is a good thing. And teachers are going back smiling, happy. Also, we know that some of the schools, they refurbished them. They repainted some of the schools. They did the yard for some of the schools. They fixed the staff room for some of the schools. They fixed the bathrooms for some of the schools. So a number of things have been done over the holiday to make the environment more conducive for learning by this government. And they must be commended. They must be applauded for seeing education as important and investing significantly in that area. The free tuition support, the free tuition program, so many parents are breathing a sigh of relief because they don't have to find that $810. The government is paying that for that student, that young man, that young lady to go to TAMCC, also to go to NULO to learn a skill. That's wonderful. That's marvelous. That's great. That's fantastic. The government is paying that $810 for that child to go to TAMCC or go to NULO. That never used to happen under the NNP. But the NDC has been doing that for the last, 2 years? Consistently so. This is great. This is wonderful. And we have to applaud the government for doing that. They're easing up the burden on parents. And then, successfully so, they implemented again the school uniform and supplies program, where students, or let's say parents, got $150, $200, $450, $350 for their kids to get uniform for their kids and school supplies. That's a good thing. The government rolled out that worth millions of dollars. And then we had the debushing program just before school reopened, where parents again got the opportunity to get a fortnight or two and buy stuff for the kids to go back to school. So this government is at work. They're at work. So when the NNP passed around on the weekend with the DJ and people started booing them, people had a reason to do so.
We can't even pay.
Who are the rescuing? We already rescued this.
Only the big boys and their friends have. The average man has nothing.
Yeah, so it's, people are booing them. People are laughing at them as the NNP. So just around the time when parents and so on going about shopping and buying their stuff for their children, the NNP was out there with this nonsense.
Government has Grenada in a crisis, but the NNP will rescue Grenada. Government minister raised their salaries while we struggle. Government ministers traveling around the world, first class. We can't even pay the bus. Life has become more difficult for the average Canadian. We have no money to spend on basic items to feed the family. Only the big boys and their friends have. The average man has nothing. The cost of living is too high. We cannot continue like this. Let's make the change. Get registered. Make sure your name is on the voters list. And be ready to make the difference. The new National Party.
Right, so the NNP, they were out there, with that DJ going around the place, and people were actually booing them. And people were saying, well, who are you coming back to rescue? Rescue what? What crisis we are in? The feedback. You see, sometimes it's important to be around, to listen. Because while they were going around with that PA system or that DJ, right? People were chanting, well, who are you rescuing? Who are you coming back to rescue? Move there with that. We ain't studying all you, and so on. We happy, we good. The government is performing well. Feedback like these, you get the sentiments. People are expressing it openly. Openly, people are expressing it. So while they're out there with their DJ system, people are happy and they're expressing that. I love what the Honorable David Andrews said.
ill-speaking the government, that things are terrible and things are bad and we don't know how to manage the country. And I'm listening and I'm saying, what craziness is this? But I was happy that I was there. Because apart from knowing that the things that were said were blatantly deceptive, and they were erroneous, and they were lies.
Yep.
Talking about government ministers raising their salaries and nobody else getting any benefit. I mean, and I can talk about these things because there's been no such thing.
Yeah.
Because they didn't tell us that they agreed to MPs and parliamentarians, not government ministers necessarily, parliamentarians getting a benefit that never existed, that they get too.
Yep. Exactly.
And they're not saying that they're getting the $10,000 that even in my case I don't get.
But in addition to getting the 10, they also getting 5.
Yes, they get a salary.
Yeah.
Right. So that is important. That's very important. But he should have said also that during the NNP time, and you see, NNP could only fool certain people. During the NNP time, the ministers had free access to gas and diesel. So they would go at the central police station on the Carenage and they would fuel up their vehicles, and taxpayers had to pay for it. And on average, a minister would take up to $2,000 worth of gas per month. So for the entire month, the gas that they would take at the central police station would amount to about $2,000. Sometimes more, sometimes less, but on average, $2,000. And they could full up, if they have 3 vehicles, today they drive the first one, they go in in the central police station, and they full up that vehicle. Tomorrow, they drive the third one, they go in the central police station, and they full up that vehicle. The next day, they drive the third one, so the second and the third, they full it up, and they could have done that 3 times a day if they want to. All right? So on average, they would cost taxpayers $2,000. Then, nearly all of them had a driver. They were assigned a driver, and the driver was paid $1,800, some $2,000. So you're talking about, on average, $4,000. They were costing government $4,000 a month just in transportation for a minister. When the NDC came into power, the NDC cut off this getting gas at the central police station for ministers. They cut that off. And also a driver for a minister. And they gave $2,000 traveling allowance for a minister. And that $2,000 is for gas. And if you want a driver, you have to use that same $2,000 to pay that driver. Nothing more, nothing less. So in reality, it is not an increase that they got. So the NNP is trying to fool Grenadians into believing that ministers got an increase. That is not the case. The salaries of a member of parliament, including the NNP members of parliament, that increased from $3,500 or so to $5,000. So all the members of parliament, don't matter if they're NNP, on the NNP side or on the NDC side, they get in $5,000 every month as a salary. And the senators, there's increase, I think, to 3,000, either 3,005 or 3,002, somewhere around there, right? But all of them agreed to that, opposition and government, because during the time of the NNP, they were not getting that, all right? So I am saying the NNP continues to lie to the Grenadian people. making them believe that there's some increase in salaries for ministers. That's not the case. In fact, the ministers would have been better off getting the free gas at the central police station still and getting a driver assigned to them. I'm telling you, they would have been better off, because getting the free gas or the gas that taxpayers have to pay at the central police station was about the $2,000. And then the driver, because now the ministers have to drive for themselves. But if they had a driver, then taxpayers have to pay. That's no more. Any minister you see having a driver is because the $2,000 traveling allowance that they get in, that driver, they have to pay that driver out of that. So it's not an increase. It's not an increase. So NNP going out, and that is why people are booing them. That is why people are laughing at them. People see the NNP as a kicks, because all around the world, the cost of goods are going up. We don't make condensed milk here. We don't produce condensed milk or powdered milk or evaporated milk here. And the price is set even before it comes in to the country. We don't produce rice here. We don't produce butter here. We don't produce oil here. Well, coconut oil, but few people use that unless you're traveling or so, because it's pretty expensive. We don't produce spaghetti and macaroni and ketchup or cream of wheat or oatmeal. We don't produce these things here. Salt, right? Flour. We don't produce many of these things. We don't produce them here in Grenada. So it comes from outside. And the price is set even before it arrives on the port. So to talk about the high cost of living, giving people the impression that the government could just do so, many of these goods, they don't attract VAT. Many of them, there is no VAT on it. The government don't collect a revenue from many of these goods. They are zero rated. They are zero rated. All right? And that's something that you need to know. So it's not like the government could change the price. And all the laundry detergent, as this person is saying, soaps, and dishwashing liquid and breeze and all these different things, and we don't produce them here. We don't. So it's not like we could just change the price, because the person who brings it in, the business who brings it in, they purchase it at a particular price, and then they would put a little profit, they mark up, and many a times it's not anything significant. No. So it's not that the government could really just wake up tomorrow morning and say the price of this is reduced. And no, the local stuff. And that is why the government is supporting farmers, supporting homeowners to have their little backyard garden, and giving them the kind of support that is required, so that you could augment, or you could, mix. So you might buy some stuff from the supermarkets or shops, and then you would have stuff in your backyard, or you would buy local stuff and you would mix it up. And then it will be able to stretch. And that's the point. That's the main point. And that is why the government is focusing heavily on that. But the NNP, they're like a stick cassette, over and over, only talking about the high cost of living and the high cost of living. That's all they, high cost of food. And what can they do to bring it down? They're not telling me and you what they will do to bring down the price. The NNP, watch me, they're nasty, they're bad-minded too. Because you're saying the cost of living is high, but what will you do to bring it down? They're not telling you. Because nearly all these goods, they're zero rated, like the basic basket of goods. And instead of you using the Irish potato, for example, and many a times when you cut it in the center, it starts rotting already. Or even while you're peeling the skin, you realize okay, these things are not too healthy. The Irish potatoes. We have sweet potatoes here. We have breadfruit, lap and cut, ototoi, or what do you call it? It's like a lot, plenty. Ototoi, or whatever. You know, like colloquially speaking. It's plentiful. You could substitute, you know, the Irish potato with the sweet potato or the breadfruit. You have some yellow breadfruit. When you peel that and you steam that or you fry that, watch, I don't know what to tell you. Yellow and nice, eating good. So the NNP, they complaining. They out there with PA systems and people are laughing with DJ system. People laughing at them. They're laughing because people know that the government is trying and people have work. That is what is important, you know. People have work. People have spending power. You go to events and you see for yourself. Cricket, football, and you see for yourself. People have spending power. Look, you watch Grenville Friday. You watch Tong Friday. You watch Tong Saturday. Watch Grenville. Guav. Sotes. People are spending. People are buying stuff. People have spending power. Thanks to the government and the private sector. Because the government is assisting the private sector so that they can create jobs and opportunities for our people. So the NNP continues to scream and bawl and cry and but people have sense. People understand that the government is at work and they care about their people. You know, I went to Grenville, but kind of stopped on my way to St. Andrew yesterday. And you could feel it. I went to the cricket at Malmont. You know, Malmont, they have the cricket competition every Sunday. So they started yesterday. All right, every Sunday, Malmont has cricket. And you listen to people with Nolan, this Nolan lady, with this funny accent, or she has an accent or accident or accent, I don't know, accent, right? And people laughing at the woman. People laughing at the woman. I'm telling you. So, look, yes, the truck, Lacey, the truck was in town too. The truck went all about the place. All right? But they believe that they're going to get to people and they're going to be able to fool people. Because people are asking, what you rescuing Grenada from? From the NNP? If you say you want to rescue from what? What is the problem? What is the issue? And if you are the rescuer, you need to come with credentials. You need to show me. In other words, you are a non-swimmer. You cannot swim, but you're a lifeguard. And you want to rescue somebody who's in difficulty in the water. That's the NNP. The NNP does not have any credibility. They're not qualified to rescue Grenada. They mess up this country for too long. They cause us to be in real problems over the many years. And I'm saying NNP is operating like a lifeguard on the beach that cannot swim, but they hire that person as a lifeguard, but you can't swim. But you want to go and rescue people in the water. You go drowned and the people go drowned. And I think that is what we need to say to them. We need to package it nicely. The NNP saying they want to rescue Grenada. Show us your qualification. Show us your qualification. And if you're a lifeguard and you want to rescue, you need to be able to swim. You need to be able to do first aid. You need to be an EMT. You need to be trained. So you just come and tell us you're a lifeguard and you're coming to rescue us. No. And we have to confront them where that is concerned. All right. My good friend Glenda, she called me on Friday and she told me she was in the hospital. You know Glenda, she normally calls the program. She calls many programs. She's a upfront NDC. She's a very lovely woman. So she told me she was in the hospital on Friday. All right. And she wanted me to know that. But she's in good spirit and she's coming on. Right. I have to call back today to find out because I did indicate to her that I'm recovering from the flu. I am not 100% there yet. So I didn't want to go to the hospital and, give her the flu. So I did indicate to her that's the case. But if she's there today, tomorrow, I will try my best to go and visit her. And if she's at home, I will go and visit her there. All right? She's my very good friend. She's a very nice lady. But she wanted me to know that. And she wanted you, the listeners, the viewers, to know that at the time, she was in the hospital and she's improving. All right? She's improving. So just, saying that here. Good? Also, remember, this program is funded by people just like you. All right? Home and abroad. Every month, we do a pledge program. So what I normally do is send out a WhatsApp message to the usual people who give to the program. And they will tell me whether or not they will give or pledge for the month. I did that. All right? And we are still short of about $3,200. So I did that. People committed, people pledged to give, a number of people pledged to give towards, meeting the commitments, meeting the bills. But we are still short of about $3,200. So if you're listening, you're viewing, you follow the program, and you want to give towards that, you can. You can WhatsApp me on my personal number, 1-473-415-4817. Or you can use the other number, 1-473-403-1019. Or you can use the program number, 538-0933. So 1-473-538-0933. You can use that number if you want to make a pledge, if you want to give towards the program. Because between now and let's say Wednesday, if we do not get the $3,200, that's, to pay the bills and meet the commitments, then I may have to do a live pledge. All right? So between now and Wednesday, if people pledge and we meet the commitments, then we don't have a need to do that. All right? But if not, then I will have to do it. So again, just saying, there are a number of people who normally give. Send them a WhatsApp message. Some say yes, some say no. Some say, well, next month. Some say, well, the other month, But if you're there, you listen, you follow the program, and you want to give to the program, you can. All you need to do is to WhatsApp me, message me. Say, hey, Kev, I want to give a little $50. I want to give a little $100. And if you're in America, for example, you can Zelle the money, and I will get it instantly if you're in the United States of America. All right? You can Zelle. I can provide you with the Zelle number, and you can Zelle the money, and I will get it immediately. Once you Zelle it, I will get it. So again, once you message me, you WhatsApp me, I can provide you with that Zelle number. All right? Provide you with that number so you can send it, so we can meet the bills and meet the commitments and continue the program. So we are still short $3,200. Just about that. It's $3,160 something. So just round it off to $3,200. That's what we still short of. So if you're there, you follow the program, you can link me up, WhatsApp me. Everybody knows my number, 415-4817. That's 415-4817. But if you're overseas, you have to add the code 1473. All right? So it's important. If you want to give, you can, if you can afford, towards the program. All right? So I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful day. I'll be back with you tonight in the hub, starting from 8 in the PM. Bye for now.